Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to today's video where I want to discuss a topic which sometimes comes up in discussion, and there is occasionally some confusion about the differences between these two types of approaches to the chronograph activation. So on the right here I have the Alpha Moonwatch. Yes, it is a heavy homage. I reviewed this a while back, but it is a piece that features a display back with this movement. This is a Seagull ST19 movement, and it does have a column wheel manual wind feature. So you can see on the 12 o'clock position, as you look at it, there's a column wheel there, that castellated round piece with those triangular teeth, and I'll try to put some pictures of close-ups of this. It is a horizontally actuated chronograph, a horizontal clutch, and you can see the gear systems, the gold gears there that activate when you press the start-stop button on this movement. Okay, so that's a column wheel chronograph with a horizontal clutch. This one on the left here, I've chosen this piece. Now this is the Oris Titan chronograph, Oris Aquis Titan chronograph, which I reviewed quite a while back now. It doesn't get a huge amount of attention. It's a piece that is no longer in production, but what this does have is a display back of a more commonly used cam activated chronograph, or cam actuated, or sometimes you call it cam lever. This is the very ubiquitous Valjoux 7750 movement. Okay, so you're going to see this in many places, many pieces, and just for information, it is a cam actuated chronograph with a horizontal clutch. All right, so this is what's in here. So unfortunately, it does have that rotor, and it because of some of the bridges and the construction, it doesn't allow you to see as much as a manual wind. But we'll do what we can with showing you this. Okay, so let's just show the differences in the activation. So as I show the back here, okay, so I'm gonna start it, and if you look at, particularly, I'll go in a close-up here. If you look at the column wheel as well as the golden gears there, start. Okay, stop, and you can see this particular wheel here, the one on the left, moves into position as I start it to turn the center seconds hand, right? That center wheel in the middle of the movement, that turns the chronograph seconds hand, that red hand there. Okay, and I'm just going to stop it again. As you can see, move aside, and you can see the column wheel turns around with every start stop, and then I'm going to reset it. Okay, so the whole assembly changes when you reset it. Right, again, start, stop, and reset. Reset doesn't change the column wheel, it's only the start stop that turns the column wheel. Okay, so that's the activation there. Again, horizontal clutch. Okay, this is not a vertical clutch movement. Now this one, let's have a look at the difference here. Okay, if you look at the part of the cam system up the top of the movement, up the top of the window as you see it here, and I'll show you as much as I can. Start. Okay, you can see the whole assembly changes. The levers move, the cam turns, and there is a gear that would move into place to turn what is the center chronograph seconds. Okay, it's moving now. All right, just going to stop it. Okay, just a bit of movement of the cam that you can see there, and then start again. Okay. So that's the movement you can see. That's all you can see in this particular display. Reset. Okay, you see a little bit more. So let's just show that again. Start. Stop. Okay, and then reset. Right, it's a little bit sticky, these buttons, and that's one of the, I guess, the relative drawbacks of the cam actuated ones. Okay, so you can see a different system. There is no column wheel, it is a cam, and that's what it achieves. Now in terms of absolute reliability, accuracy, well, there's no difference, right? Okay, so that they are both reliable. They both can be regulated to high accuracy. Certainly, this can be regulated to chronometer standards. And in terms of, how absolutely trusted they are, well, the Omega caliber 1861, the one in the Speedmaster Moonwatch that was certified for space flight, that was accepted by NASA to be able to be used reliably in space. So, if anything, that goes to show that there is no inferiority of a cam actuated chronograph over a column wheel. Now, why would you go for a column wheel? Well, it's really about, I guess, the old aesthetics and engineering. I mean, it is harder to engineer to the tolerances of a column wheel. The tolerances are tighter and it costs more to make a column wheel. But the main advantage, I guess, apart from aesthetics, is that definitely the pusher, right? The feel of the pusher is a lot smoother. No doubt about it. All the column wheels I've come across, the pushers definitely feel smoother than the 7750. I guess the 7750 is really the only cam actuated ones I have come across. Maybe there may be differences if you get a higher grade model. I don't know. Let me know if you know. But in my reading, that is one of the definite differences you can feel. Cam actuated ones are cheaper, but they do have a very firm feel to it. At least this particular movement does. I can't really, start and stop without having some vibration. I was struggling to hold that still for the camera. And I guess the flip side of being relatively cheap is that it is very easy to service. It's a lot easier to find watchmakers that will service this. I guess any good watchmaker will service well-known column wheels as well, but I gather that it is a little bit more difficult. Okay, so the other big differences, the other big difference that people seem to knock cam actuated ones for is the jumping of the start of the seconds. And it is known to have some jumping when you start the seconds hand. There is undeniably some issue there. And that's because of the way the teeth mash together. Okay, as you can see in this one, when I start it, right, the teeth, the wheels move together and the teeth, there's some meshing, and that leads to some jumping potentially of the seconds hand. But that has nothing to do with column wheel or cam actuation. That has to do with horizontal and vertical clutch. Okay, I don't have a vertical clutch example, but if you can imagine a vertical clutch, you're having two discs sitting on top of each other, and when you engage it, the top or one of the discs moves into position and starts turning the central seconds chronograph hand, and that reduces the jump. It's a lot smoother in terms of the start. It reduces the energy usage, as I understand it, and therefore you can run the chronograph without consuming more power. Whereas a horizontal clutch, which with the gears turning, apparently it can use slightly more energy when the chronograph is running. So those are the differences between vertical and horizontal clutch. The vertical clutch is more expensive. Horizontal clutch is easier to produce, easier to service, to find parts for it. That's the main differences. So higher grade movements, they seem to perhaps try to go for the vertical clutch. But the big advantage of the horizontal clutch, apart from being cheap, is that aesthetically, you see the operation. So arguably, aesthetically, that is actually slightly more pleasing. Okay, guys, so there we have it. That's the differences between column wheel and cam actuation, and some comments on horizontal versus vertical clutch chronographs. These are both horizontal clutch. Let me know what you think and your experiences with mechanical chronographs of this variety. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased in all things horology. Guys, thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.